Righty ho, everyone. We are actually here, and a little bit of confusion at the start. Thanks for being with us. Of course, as always, we are here on a Tuesday. Oh dear, I'm getting the days mixed up as well. Here we go. Let's see what we can make of this. I'm not sure who's actually in to listen to me at the moment because there seems to be a bit of a scant attendance in the room. Anyway, I'll continue, and we'll see who jumps in and joins us. We are live on whatever platform we should be on, which I think includes YouTube and Facebook, maybe even on Twitter, I think, or whatever else there is. I don't know. Anyway, we are here, and I'm very glad that you could join us. And those of you coming into the room late, I totally get it because we were late. Simple as that. My apologies for that. All right, let's move on. Not having such a great day since I had a look at the charts because I'm hoping you guys did what I said rather than what I did, and I'll get to that. Disabled Angel, I can't share screen for whatever reason. You may have to give me some power. Says I can. Says I'm a co-host, but won't let me share screen. Now it will. Okay, cool. Rightio. So let's have a look at the pound. We'll go on to those things that I'm a little bit disappointed about very shortly. Aussie Kiwi and pound Kiwi are the ones because I want to scale in. We'll get there later. Pound US dollar. Are we in a range? Yeah, look, it's one of those things where, Asia session has produced a little bit of a range which was broken out of. Now we're back into it. Bigger picture, of course, we're in a range. There's no question about that. The only question is, where would we draw the line? If we're looking to trade short here, it's going to be quite dangerous. But it is a breakout. So let's go and place those orders. Don't have a problem with it. Two issues today, of course. If you're going from a filtering point of view, you really don't want to trade at the daily pivot long. You really don't want to trade at the bottom of a range short. But I think we're in a range, so I'm okay to trade it. So let's go. Let's put the short in first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be the same for both strategies, the optimized version, which is computerized, of course, and my version, which is not. Now, I hasten to add that Ash and I have been looking at this pretty closely over the last couple of weeks, and we are going to change this very shortly. Not dramatically, but it should bring in a little bit of a filter that excludes a lot of bad entries. I'll put it that way. So let's go with this one. We'll go with the high first. The high is 1.3852, which means we'll go at 1.3853. We round up to the next number. And the stop loss will be 1.3835, rounding down to the whole number. So 38.53 and 35 will be the long. 38.53 and 35. Maybe there's something in that. TP1, therefore, we've got an 18 pip stop loss. We should then use a 9 pip TP1, which would bring us in at 1.3862 for TP1 on the long, and for the TP2, we would be looking at 36 pips, which would get us to 89, 1.3889. I think we used that number yesterday, did we not? Either for a stop loss or a TP or something like that. Okay, the shorts, low of the range would be this one, 1.38209 becomes 1.3820. Coming up, 1.3820. And the stop loss on that would be above that bar. And of course, it gives me a different reading every time. That bar would be 1.38436 becomes 1.3845. 1.3844. And we go back into there, 1.3844. So we've got a 24 pip stop loss, which means we use 12 as our first take profit, which means our first take profit would be at 1.3808. And 48 pips will be our TP2, and that would take us to 1.3772, if my maths are correct, and I'm pretty sure they would be. Righto, so let's put those orders in the market. The buy first up, and once again, if you're joining us for the first time, not only welcome to you, but be aware that this is in a test mode and not a proven system at this point. So we don't trade this with any real money on the table. It's play money or micro lots only. What are we doing? We're buying at 1.3853. And our stop loss is at 1.3835. And that will do for there. I'll put the TPs in a tick. The sell order. And again, if you're with us for the first time, this is an OCO, or one cancels other order, where if we get taken into the long, we cancel the short. If we get taken into the short, we cancel the long. Short order will be triggered at 1.3820. And the stop loss on that will be at 1.3844. Okay. So that's taken care of that. Both orders in the market. You can see the stop loss for the long is here below that bar. The entry is above it. The stop loss for the short is above this bar, which is there, and the entry is below it. Okay, so the take profits. First take profit on the buy is at 1.3862, which is right there. Yesterday's trade, guys, was a break even. We got TP1, but that was as good as it got. TP2 is at 1.3889, which is in a very nice spot just below the weekly pivot. I'd like to see that happen. And I am biased long, actually, because we are at the base here. I'm looking for a higher low to actually trade it, but I think that was the same case yesterday, wasn't it? Didn't happen. So they're the TPs for the long. TPs for the short, 1.3808 will be our first one, which is about there. And I'll just squeeze it up a bit. 1.3772 would be TP2, which is pretty much there. Okay, we'll see if that triggers in the near future, and if not, why not? We want to know why. I want to update something for you guys. We got into Euro Swissy yesterday, and pursuant to my strategy and the way I trade, the way I manage my trades, I'm now out of that trade. And I did update that management in the Telegram group, and let me explain to you why that is the case. We entered the market at 1.039, which was on the, it was a 4-hour chart, daily chart. We're probably trading this here, weren't we? Now, when we entered the market, which was during the show yesterday, actually, 1.3 is it 1039, which was there-ish, underneath that little bit of consolidation. We broke through. TP1 was 2 pips from where price actually finished, so 1.1005, which was there. Now, my system, the way that I manage trades, dictates that if I don't get TP1 by a very small margin, I move my stops immediately to entry. Because if I don't get TP1 and price goes back against me, and I actually produce what should have been at least a break-even trade into a losing trade, I get the SH1Ts. and that's why I don't even think about it. If I miss that by a very small margin, TP1 stops to entry straight away. And that's exactly what I did. And as I said in the Telegram group, I updated that this morning. And if you are in the Telegram group, you should now be out of that trade at break even. Now, I am still committed to the short here. I just need to find another entry. And at the moment, I don't see that. What would I like to see? Well, probably on a smaller time frame. I'll still be looking for that on a smaller time frame. I'll be looking for a break of resistance. If this current bar, if the previous bar maintains its stature as the high, and we do get that trade line, which is not relevant at the moment because it's not yet a high. But if we do get a break of that, hit the weekly pivot, come back underneath and retest it, happy days. I'm more than happy to get back into the short. If you're still in it, I'll leave that entirely up to you guys as to whether you want to stay in it. But as I say, my rules dictate that once I miss TP1 by a very small margin, in this case it was 2 pips, I'm out. Don't want to know about it. I want to reassess. And this bar in the last hour or so is probably giving me a nice feeling that that strategy or the way that I manage that particular position is the correct way. That may change, of course, and we could just go bang, and I'll be wrong. But if that's the case, happy days. So I'm more about capital preservation than I am about taking risks. So that's why I do what I do. Up to you guys. You're a couple of pips above entry at the moment. I'll leave it to you as to how you want to manage that. But I'm out, as I said. Okay, so the two things that I'm a little bit disappointed about, this one here yesterday, I'm pretty sure we discussed it as well, is Aussie Kiwi, and I certainly discussed this in the morning show. Well, morning's not really a show. Well, it is for some, but in the analysis that I was talking about yesterday and also in this morning, I thought there was every reason to place a long above that bar there. And that's turned out to be 100% accurate. And guess what? I'm not in it. I spend so much time not in front of the charts at the moment, and I should have placed the order, and I didn't. Simple as that. And that's now gone. Is there another way to get into it? Look, to be frank, you've missed a whole bunch of pips here, so probably past 1-to-1 already. 44, yeah, you passed 1-to-1 already. I'm just going to write that off for now. Is there an opportunity later? I don't know, to be honest. Once it's gone to DR3, I'm not interested in jumping into the market, that's for sure. It would need to do something pretty special for me to get interested in trading that now. It's Gornsky, guys. Hopefully those of you who were listening to me did as I said rather than what I did. Simple as that. And the other one, of course, we wanted to scale into pound Kiwi. You'll remember yesterday that we were looking at this double cross of the weekly pivot, and I suggested there would be far worse things to do than place another entry above that bar with your stop loss below it. And lo and behold, that's exactly what's happened, and that looks to be well on its way as well. And once again, I haven't raised a sweat because I haven't been in front of the charts, and I didn't place the order at the time, so I've missed out on that one as well. The good part, I suppose, is we are now what, 92.35, 350 pips to the good on the initial position. So it's hard to complain, but yeah, that was a perfect scaling point, as I said before. And if you did, happy days. I hope you did. Hello, Lewis. Kiwi pairs all went crazy. They did, mate. Kiwis had a bad day in no uncertain terms. Not sure what that's all about. And I didn't find out, frankly. I was going to have a look at that, but well, not unfortunately for me, I had a whole lot of bamboo orders I had to get through this morning and into the afternoon. And I also had to make a big weather protection for the chickens. this has got a lot to do with trading, because there's a whole lot of bad weather coming our way. Some of that ridiculous rain that they've been experiencing on the mainland, or the Big Island, as we call it here in Tasmania, has decided to make its way down here. So we're expecting that overnight. So I've been battening down the hatches, and trading has been the furthest thing from my mind, I've got to say. And yeah, it's a little bit disappointing when that happens. But, you know, that's the way it is. You can't be everywhere, Ash, can you?
No, you can't, mate. No, you absolutely shouldn't be everywhere. No.
Oh, well, sometimes you'd like to be everywhere, but
Oh, yeah, I'd love it. I would love it. Yeah, no, it can't be done, mate. It can't be done. Interesting. Just looking at your chart there, that pop in the pound, which I haven't checked across the board, but I suspect it might be in a few places. Where is it? Pound. Yeah, pop in the pound looks pretty good. Decent employment numbers and a average earnings ratio that popped to the upside as well. More about the lower wage workers decreasing more than anything else. I think that's that's an effect that that is dogging the economies really worldwide. Is that the people at the lower end of the scale are probably losing their jobs more than everybody getting a wage increase.
Actually, that's a great question. I know in Australia, the main, I suppose, is the right word, the main source of liquidity for those who have suffered through COVID extinguishes. I think it's next week. About 5 days from now. What that's going to do to the Australian psyche and even the economy is yet to be determined. There are other support packages in place, but nowhere near as much as has been in the 12 months that's just gone by. Believe it or not, wow, 12 months. Can you believe here we are? What's happening in your neck of the woods, mate? With the support packages, are they?
Well, do you know this actually does start to kind of play out a little bit into the markets, because you're absolutely right. The support packages, I think, are going to be extended for a little while longer. But I don't know if you heard today, but Germany's going into an Easter long lockdown, and when we kind of like think about what's happening, certainly in Europe, Germany going into an Easter long lockdown, this just puts the Eurozone in another position of weakness. The euro in another position of weakness. We're talking about the labor market and how that affects the labor market. Well, the other thing that is happening as well is that there are travel bans. I mean, you're not allowed to travel from the UK until at least June, unless it's for a wedding or a funeral or business, or some mitigating circumstance. You're not allowed to travel. So this puts Spain particularly in a really, really bad position. And with the UK, to a degree, starting to open up again. We're not allowed to travel. There are going to be £5,000 fines if you do to go and seek a holiday. But it puts the UK in a very strong position comparatively to the EU. So we might start to see some of that, just come back a little bit if the internal market can start to strengthen. Cineworld, for an example, so some of the cinemas are starting to open up again. I think that there's certainly an announcement that they'll be opening up again relatively soon. So the UK economy is probably going to start picking up. Now those support packages are in place, but they may not need to be around for too much longer. Certainly as long as they are in Europe. The situation over there is pretty worrying. I would say. I would have thought, that they were so slow with their vaccine rollout that it already affected things because they were slow with the vaccine rollout, and now it's going to go and start spreading through everything yet again. People locked down, which means that people's mentalities are going to get affected again. It means that industry can't open up again. It means travel can't open back up again. And it really brings me, I was going to just quickly show you a chart of oil because now I think we can start to look at the potential for some downside in this oil market. I think
Yeah, it
if
makes sense
anything,
on what you're saying. Yeah, it's
yeah,
logical.
I mean, if we're going to start getting affected by things, then certainly the IBEX. I mean, the IBEX is difficult to get into because it's already kind of thundering to the downside. And look at that gap down again this morning. Yes, it's in a buy zone, so a reason that you would be I think maybe a little foolish to sell it here. I mean, maybe not. It might continue to just plummet. But if you are going to start trading the IBEX at this particular stage, I mean, even yesterday when we opened up the market yesterday, it had already fallen pretty much to the full extent of the move of yesterday. So there wasn't an opportunity yesterday. And if we see when the move happened, then let me bring in the pivots just so I can see what day it was. What time it was? There we go. That was the gap down. So that was that was in the morning. That was in the morning. So yeah, we probably could have been quite sharp on that actually. Down. What does that equate to? Where are we at now? 8:15. So that's 15. Is that a? It's 160. It's about a 5% drop. I think I'm right in saying that. So it is significant, but you can't trade it now anyway. It's not really tradable, and trying to get it back into an area where you can trade it is going to be tricky because by the time it comes back here, then the reason we're looking for downside may well have subsided. It may not. It might all of a sudden just jump to the upside and get some people on board, and then the big guns can genuinely sell it off. But let's have a quick look at oil because oil's the really interesting one here to my mind. We were talking, I think, last week. I can't remember who mentioned oil for some downside, but they were right on the money, and it was difficult to actually suggest a move to the downside last week because the trend was still very much up when we were talking about it, and we were looking at a move down and then a retracement. Now this would give us that lower right shoulder. So where we can't really trade the IBEX lower, I think we could with oil. Looking at the pivots on oil, it's kind of in between. The pivots might provide some support and resistance here, but you can see here that the daily pivot has now been taken out, so we're lower than that daily pivot. We definitely have the green light when it comes down to looking at weekly price action, because the weekly price action is definitely full because of this particular area here. So for me, oil is now is now tradable. What I'd like to see, I mean, there's a very little chance at this stage that it's getting up here. That the supply in oil is not diminished enough to be able to really cushion a travel ban. The travel ban was not in the remit when oil was rising and rising and rising, and now all of a sudden it's back in the remit. So Eurozone will be in trouble again. Yes, they will. It will potentially have implications throughout the world, Lewis. Yes, it will. However, if you are thinking about taking a trade on a short for the FTSE, my personal suggestion would be you might be better off going long on the FTSE but going short on something European, just to hedge out the risk, because the FTSE is relative.
The currency, euro pound, maybe.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, absolutely. That might be a really good way to do it. Yeah, maybe hedge out the risk with a currency. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there would be certainly a decent way to play it. I mean, it's problematic because which one do you get into when it comes down to the European indices? I suppose the Italian one might be okay. That doesn't look like it's gone too far. I don't think I'd want to trade Germany to the downside, certainly not against the UK. Yes, they're going into a lockdown, but I think their economy's in relatively good shape. The CAC are on. This would be different. I'd be interested in that, but again, that's kind of gone quite far already. And when you compare that to the FTSE so far, I mean, yes, it has had a move lower, but really the FTSE, to my mind, is sitting on a buy zone. So Actually, this would be pretty good, to be fair. I think, maybe a FTSE long and looking for one of the European indices to go short, like the Italian one, would be okay if you have that option. You'd want it against the IBEX. That's the obvious choice, but the IBEX has gone a bit too far. So you might get caught up just because the move has been further priced in. But the FTSE, I'm not sure whether the FTSE is going to collapse here. I'm not convinced about that. I think the UK economy and opening things back up again might just rescue the FTSE from a really, really, a real collapse to the downside. Because if we think about what drives each of the areas, then the Europeans getting locked down will affect certain industries within the FTSE 100, but it won't affect all of them. Let's take Unilever for an example. Unilever kind of creates consumer products. People aren't going to stop shopping for consumer-based products because they are locked down. The areas that get affected by this stuff are the areas that have that face-to-face contact. Now, the face-to-face contact, if you're in the UK, doesn't really matter so much. Well, in fact, it will matter because you can't get the tourism. But if the UK's lockdown is lifted, there are certain companies that will still do okay. There's a bar down the road from me on the beach, and regardless of whether Europe's open back up again, that place will be rammed during the summer. I can guarantee it. If lockdown is lifted over here, and it certainly looks like it will be. So by no means will it get affected, but with the same degree as Europe. So you would have to pick certain industries if you were going to trade it. I don't think you would want to trade the FTSE as a whole to the downside off the back of that. I think you'd have to pick certain sectors within the FTSE if you were going to trade, if you wanted to take a short, because certain sectors will still hold up. So I'm not so keen on shorting the FTSE, and in actual fact, I've got a long in this area as well, and I'm going to continue to go long on the FTSE if it drops down any further. I think it's going to be okay. But let's just get back to oil, because oil's the real one that I think would be an interesting one to try and trade. Now, I think there's a case to be made for oil short. This is the perfect spot, 63.35, sorry, on WTI futures. Now, let me see if I can bring in a chart that you guys can get the same numbers as me. Might make it easier. Let's use Fusion. Let's use Fusion instead, okay? And that gives us XTI. Okay, so same deal really, but you can see this would be the same area there, and that would have been an obvious area for a reversal pattern. If we kind of got an inverted, so if we got a head and shoulders round about that area, then that would have been looking good. There's your left shoulder, your head. Another the right shoulder here would have been useful. A move back up to that area, that would have been useful, because then you get your reversal pattern to trade. Markets don't often do exactly what you need them to do. So now the question is, are we going to get a lower right shoulder? Is it going to look more like this? And the truth is, it could. It really could look like a right shoulder there. But what I'd really want to get is some further confluence. If that is going to be my area, I'd want to get some further confluence. The weekly pivot, yes, we could add, but I'd really like a trend line or a fib in that area down there to help things out a little bit. So let's see if we can get that. There are two trend lines that I can see. Here's one, and here's the other. So this would suggest, if that's going to be seen, that would suggest that this isn't going to unravel until Friday, around about the Friday time period. Watch out for the dollar. The dollar strengthens. That is also going to add some weight to this as well. That's going to add some downside risk to oil. Now, we haven't really got the strength in the dollar yet that we would probably need to see, but for right now,
Actually, I was going to say that's a good question. Where do you reckon we are on the dollar at the moment? And we spoke last week about the critical level that we were at, and it hasn't moved one iota since.
Yeah.
Since, you know.
Yeah, yeah, interesting, isn't it? The dollar, gold, they're but both of them aren't really doing a lot. But I don't know. I suppose when it comes down to the dollar, we can see it kind of creeping its way forward, can't we? It is in an uptrending pattern if we look at this on the daily. So to be honest, mate, right now it would be hard to argue, technically speaking, for the dollar not to continue its move to the upside. Ultimately, in my opinion,
don't worry, I can make an argument.
Yeah, but I think your argument is probably for the dollar to come lower eventually rather than now. Maybe
yes,
I'm wrong.
It is. I think we're in a very big question mark right now.
Yeah, and so it certainly appears that the dollar will attempt to make a bottom down here, and maybe we also get a neckline along here, and we would get an attempt to make an inverted head and shoulders, sort of like somewhere around about there, and then we can start looking probably at the neckline as a pretty nice and safe area for the dollar to go long, or sorry, for the dollar to go short, or a right shoulder for the dollar to go long. But it looks okay. I mean, the dollar creeping to the upside, as I say, that's going to put some pressure on oil, and I think that oil is going to be under pressure, and it's going to suffer. And I'm just trying to find the best way in. I think it's okay to start scaling into oil, but not until 62. We're currently down at 60.80, so I reckon about the 62 area. If it sticks to that trend line, I think oil would be a decent scaling. But I would really emphasize that. Look at that 38% retracement on the fib. So if this was here on Friday, that would be sweet. That would be a cracking spot. If it gets up to this point, the 50% retracement before Friday, that's also pretty sweet as well. So that's around about 63. So you're looking at 62 if it's not until the end of the week, 63 a little bit before the week, and I think oil would be a great area to go short. Now, of course, you can scale in here and you could scale in here, and the final scaling would be around about the 64 level. So you're looking at probably $1 per trade here, which means that you'd probably want your stops up around about the 66 area, 66.50. So 66.50 for stops, scaling in at 62, 63, and 64. That would be my counsel for that. And of course, every time you scale in, you're scaling a little bit more. So you divide your 1% into 3 parts. But the first part, the first third, is going to be something like $4.60. The second third would cost you $3.50. So this is where you can put more at the top, which is it's a great way to do it, because it means you make the most at the most extreme level. So that would be the way I'd want to play oil. Start scaling in from here, here, and here. I think that might be tradable, mate.
Well, you've got to take TP1 on the pound, by the way, guys. It's just shot through very, very quickly down to TP1. So we'll take that again.
Well done, buddy.
Didn't do us any good yesterday, but hopefully today it will. It has gone straight through that support level. And I'll just take that now before I go any further.
Yeah, interesting that the pound is coming down against the dollar here, where we saw it shooting up against some of those other currencies. And this does look like a dollar story. The dollar, I think, you're definitely making a case for a dollar. Now, I was going to talk about Bitcoin, but I see Shukri there in the room. He's much more qualified than I am to talk about Bitcoin, but I do find it fascinating. And I tell you what I find even more fascinating, Shukri. How is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and the like coming down, and XRP going up?
Blame it on Powell.
So why is XRP going higher, mate?
There must be something that's related to the resolution of the lawsuit.
Okay.
XRP is very news-driven, right? Because everyone knows that they're not decentralized, but Binance is not decentralized either.
Right.
And Binance is, of course, under investigation from the U.S. authorities
Goodness.
Not because that it's not decentralized, it's because that it gave leverage to a lot of US traders.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When we are dealing with US people, we got to be extra careful, not because they're not nice people, but because the Securities Commission is very, very strict.
Right.
Right. Yeah. For
It wasn't,
example,
it wasn't always the case. It was
Oh, no?
anything goes up until about 5 years ago, maybe. And then they put the clamps on, mate, like no tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
We couldn't deal with anybody in the US.
I know.
It just went nuts. Yeah.
Same.
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because it takes a lot of the SH1T out of the market.
Yeah. And even we see what the thing now is that's very tricky. US people cannot enter IDOs, the new listings. And those who were there today saw how crazy it was. Like the queue was like 70,000, 80,000, like nuts. Okay. But the thing is, if you get caught, if I buy for me and I then transfer to a US wallet and the Securities Commission know it, you are so in deep trouble. Do that. People unfortunately have to buy at higher prices. But that's good. I think when you look at it in the crypto world, you can say that's bad for US people. Not necessarily. I find some of the best analysts are actually US people because they don't have that advantage of us, which sit and sell to them,
Yeah. So, Shukri, I mean, I've been looking a lot at cryptos over the last few days, and I see that the huge pop that we've had in cryptos at the start of the year, and then it's started to settle down a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, there's obviously some further upsides to come, I would have thought, but are those 10 plus X's gone for a while? Because they're the ones that we saw at the start. It's just an explosive move.
Yeah.
Are those explosive moves gone for a while, or is it the case that they're still there, but you really do have to look further, a bit more deeply, or are they just waiting to happen right across the board again in the coming months?
For the established one, they're probably gone. You will get them only moving at the end of the year, but there are always new ones coming up.
Yeah.
Those can still go like Simon Williams went, like Simon's one went, right? That's why his $620 is now $81K. That went from 27 cents to $37. They are still now that the one that went to $37, which is ERN, is probably not going to go another 10x.
Yeah.
But there's always something else that.
And when did that happen? Was that recently?
That happened recently. So that happened like 3 weeks ago. So there are still more earns that have not been listed yet. And that will still go 10x, 20x, 100x.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are still there. But the ones that have gone have already gone. I mean, you got to accept that. There's probably no more game there. So you always got to go to the new ones.
Yeah.
But look at this. Powell calls cryptocurrencies not useful stores of value and say the Fed will move slowly. But this is
I saw that. Yeah.
I know. Look at it's a more speculative asset that's essentially a substitute for gold rather than the dollar. So I'm quite surprised. When was gold a speculative asset?
Well, they're all speculative, I suppose, aren't they? That's interesting, though, mate. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, as he claws back more tons of gold, he's kind of like he's calling Bitcoin the speculative asset. Yeah, I mean the amount of gold these central banks own right now is just astonishing. They really have been going out and protecting their backs with buying loads of gold. So that's a really good point, mate. That's a really good point. I hadn't really thought about it from that angle.
Doesn't this go to exactly what we've been talking about? And no surprise, of course the central banks are going to go poo-poo the cryptocurrencies.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course they are. And they're going to try and control them once they understand it as well.
Yes.
So, don't be surprised at that.
And it's already started in the US. And I think but there are two big news coming. The first will be the Coinbase listing next month. The second thing is a Bitcoin ETF. I think there are already 3 or 4 with the Securities Commission. Anything that is approved will cause Bitcoin to go up again. Like gold went up after GLD was listed.
Really?
Yeah, 2004, right? Or was it 2014?
So
Yeah,
are we looking for
2004,
a little bit lower with Bitcoin, or is it probably going to stabilize somewhere in this
I think it's
area?
going to stabilize here. The key level now is now, because if it goes below now, the market is 1 trillion, right? So 1 trillion market cap is the support for Bitcoin nowadays, right? Now let's see where it is today. It's very interesting. Yeah. So now let's see whether the market support of market cap of 1 trillion holds.
Shukri, just whilst that's loading,
right? See that? It's 1 trillion.
Wow.
As a perspective, where were we this time last year? I know that's a question without notice.
That is at this time last year. When was this last year? Last year was only about 4K. This has more than 10 times. 4 or 5K, yeah. 5K, about 10 times. We moved 10 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you. I can tell you exactly what it was actually.
Yeah. What was it? Because
Bitcoin.
dipped,
Here we go.
Yeah, it dipped.
So
March 12, right?
March 12, 2020. So March 2020. Here we go. It was. No, actually. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
This is you're talking about the dip, Jeff. You're talking about when we dipped down.
Yeah.
No, I was looking at market cap.
1 year.
1 year ago.
1 year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 6,000, I think. 6,000 from what I can see.
Yeah.
But the low was down at 4,000. The bottom was about 3.8. Yeah, 3. Yeah.
So it's 9
What do you
times.
mean 6,000 as in 600,000?
No, sorry, mate. You're talking. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Jeff's talking about the market cap. What was the market cap a year ago?
Just divide this by 9.
Okay.
110 billion, and now it's 1 trillion. That's like insane, right?
Yes, it is insane, mate. So we're not likely to get the same price as Elon Musk got at any point.
No.
Okay.
I think this is support. Even if it dips, it will probably dip very quick.
I like 45,000, mate. That's the number I've had in my mind for a while. If it get down to 45,000, then I'll be really interested in buying something related to Bitcoin.
45 to 42 looks like that's like the low support line. Yeah. But now the most exciting thing is that there's another market that's blooming, which is like NFTs. So that's cool.
Yes. So
now we're playing in 2 markets, and look, what I have said last week has come true. Look at this, guys. I hope the students in the class got into this. LIM. Weren't we talking about Limpo, Australian? I think this is going to do the NFT for the Australian Football League or whatever it is, because they come up with an offering which closed yesterday, a new token offering called LMT.
Yes, you were speaking about it last week, no question.
Yes, they did it. So this is going to be Australia's flag bearer. Now, I don't know which one will do for cricket, but I think it's going to be Limpo or Karura in New Zealand. I don't know which one is bigger in cricket, though. I don't think it's going to be an Indian company, but I think it's going to be this or Karura. So what is Limpo? Look at this.
Why wouldn't it be an Indian company, mate?
Because it's very hard to do it's very hard to do cryptos there. They're restricted.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's got to be Aussie.
So you've got to go via the Cape, as I would call it.
Yes. And look at this, mint exclusive sporting. This already gives you a hint. You can mint. So this is like, I'm sure the Australian Football League, who I don't know anyone there, is going to mint on here. So this is Aussie, sell and buy digital collectibles. Okay, look, and participate in the Limpo ecosystem. Look at that, sports NFTs. I mean, Australia is such a big sporting country, right? I'm sure the rugby will be here. I'm sure of that. Look, so all of this, look at that. Jeff, does this look like you? Ace from space.
He's going to probably turn the clock back a little bit, but
he looks more like Surge, I think. So have you managed to buy this one, Shukri?
Baseball. Yeah, I managed to buy this one. Yeah,
brilliant.
Buy this one. So look at this. This is baseball. Where's rugby? Hey, you guys gotta have rugby. What is this? No, it's a rugby. And they have the minting pool here already ready. I don't know how to use this, but surely we'll figure out how to use this. So there's Olympian.
I'm going to have to give you a tip here.
Yeah.
You need to make a differentiation between rugby and rugby league.
Oh, really?
Massive difference.
Yeah. Well, what's the difference?
Rugby in Australia is a minority sport. Rugby league is a majority sport.
I see.
So yeah, don't get caught up in rugby in Australia. Get caught up in rugby league in Australia.
Rugby league.
Yes.
Got it. How come I don't see rugby here? Hey, Australian, what is this?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're trying to market in the US.
Well, I can give you a reason. It may not be accurate, but they're tied up so tightly in copyright.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
That I would imagine that nobody's got hold of that yet. They have.
Yeah.
They would need to negotiate a pretty big number, like same with EPL, right? EPL on steroids, but that would be why.
Right. I think you're right. Yeah, because of all the clubs, at least the first EPL club is already in. It's called Chili's. It's also like this, but it's called Chili's. That's Manchester City. I was always hoping Manchester United would be there. What's going on? Where's Man U? What's up with that? What's up? Yeah, I think
so. They've actually paid Manchester City enough money, to get them onto this platform already.
Yeah, wow. Soon. No, not this one. Another one called Chili's. But soon you will be able to trade Manchester City tokens.
Wow!
And I'm sure one day that here, from Chili's, and we can go and look after that. I'm sure one day that this Limpo will also have a platform to trade, like Australia Rugby League, the rugby league teams, for sure. That is bound to happen, for all of this. So this was all the token offerings, and there's where it's listed, all of this, right? So this
I see, Shukri. So is with these coins, these are similar to the old kind of gaming things where you'd have to buy the token to purchase the products on the website.
Yes.
So the reason that you're buying these particular coins is because you think that the value of those coins goes up it goes up because people they need them. That actually it's a necessity. You actually can't get around it.
Ash, call it what it is. It's gaming. Oh, sorry, gaming.
So what about Chili's then?
I'm in a Muslim country. Please don't say gambling. Gaming is
you said it. I didn't say it. So tell us about Chili's then. So has Chili's also got
Juventus? They got Juventus. They got PSG. So I think you guys will be rooting for PSG to win against Bayern, right? Or whoever's meeting Bayern Munich. I don't know. Okay,
yeah.
Man City look good to go till the end. So if Man City tokens come out, I'm buying and hodling.
But why would you need to buy the Man City token if you just bought a Chili's token?
You can buy either one. But usually, when you have the parent company, the smaller tokens go higher. but again, Manchester City there's no fundamental there. If it wins the European Champions League, the token will just blast. Okay, guys, this is not some technology thing. Okay, this is if it wins, it wins. So here you have another dimension.
Is there a method in that madness, Shukri, of what you just said, that if you've got a major coin, the lesser coin tends to be worth?
Yes. That works all the time.
We're talking Polkadot and Kusama here.
Yes, Polkadot and Kusama.
Same thing.
Same thing. Let me have a drawing here. Again, as I said before, and in my YouTube last week, the Dot and Kusama game is gone. If you want to play the big ones, it's gone. But from Kusama, who's coming? And I've told you too, this will be like River, and the other one will be Karura Car, the New Zealand company. And there'll be other more smaller ones. That is the game now. The game here, yes, it will still go up, but it will go up like 2-3 times. Maybe Polkadot has another like until 120. It's not exciting.
Yeah,
as before, So you have to find a smaller one.
It is to some people, but to you season 10x's and 100x's.
Yeah. But the guys like Fat and Simon who've seen 100x, who say, we'll skip that 4x. Never mind.
Yeah, I've noticed they haven't been tuned in too much.
They don't need us anymore, Jeff.
Yeah, no. they don't want to tune in anymore. This is too small. Yeah.
There'll come a time when you guys come back to 1X and 2X, and
Yeah.
you'll all come back to the farm.
I know. So look at this, like Barcelona. Okay, they're knocked out. Juventus is knocked out. Okay, Paris Saint-Germain is in. Roma, I don't know what Roma is doing. Galatasaray, Atletico Madrid will win Spain. So, okay. And now they have Man City. So they have socials here. Look, this is
That's
like
interesting, mate. So who's got Manchester United?
no one.
So eventually you'd think that Chili's may end up with all of them.
Chilis or someone else. There's also another one called Sorare. So they're two, you know, they're like Sorare is more for the individual, right? Like Cristiano Ronaldo, but these guys are more for the teams.
Yeah.
Right? See, you can get the app, you can get the tokens, everything. It's like that. It's really like this. See, look at that.
Yeah.
I don't know where Man City is, but yeah, if Man City is there, yeah, why not? Then why not? So
Yeah.
it's cool because even these guys have an exchange. Like that's surprising. So you can get the tokens on the fan store. So I'm sure that Man City will be listing soon, and it is just get it, but don't sell it. Or if you sell it during its first pump, buy it back, because I think they're gonna go all the way. I really think they're going to go all the way. Although I hate City since they can make me rich through the token, I'm kind of okay with the noisy neighbors.
Yeah. But Chili's price, will that pump again, do you think?
Oh, Chile, yeah. For NFTs, I think they can really go. We don't even know where these guys are going, guys. I don't know where this is going. I mean, we were buying it at a very low price last time. You know, as Fat, I even forgot. It was so low that I even forgot what it was. It was too low. We were buying it so low. We were buying it somewhere. I can't even see the price. Probably about 0.15 or something. And now it's like 50 cents. Just look at that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So probably it has to consolidate, and then I think it's ready for another run later. Yeah, but just look at that. That's like amazing.
Yes,
Yes.
Mate,
Yeah.
Well, this is what I was talking about. You know, we've seen this like right across the board. You know, this parabolic run, and I suppose if you're finding new ones. But what I find interesting about some of these is that the likes of Chili's and Celsius, and you know, there's lots of coins out there that just had this huge pump, but they all went when Bitcoin and when Ethereum pumped.
Yeah.
So now we're not getting that with Ethereum and Bitcoin. Is it harder to go and find the ones that are going to pump now? Because it seemed like all ships rose in a rising tide before.
Yeah, but NFTs are a different market.
Okay.
Yeah, so that goes through its own thing.
Okay.
You know, that has its own thing, which nobody understands nowadays. Nobody understands. It's purely speculation, and when you talk about speculation, it's all, see, the good thing about crypto is, you're right, Ash. In crypto, this is the second coming. It's like the NASDAQ crash, and this is the second coming of the NASDAQ, where the Facebooks, the FANGs will be born.
Yes.
You know, the new Amazon, you know, the Netflix, you know, the Facebook, the Netflix, the Googles will be born in this phase.
Yeah.
Now, NFTs are in their first phase. They can go anywhere.
Right.
They can even blow your mind. They have gone 10x. They can go another 10x easily.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't even be shocked. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and Chili's really can go anywhere. What if Chili's get Man U? Oh, there goes another pump. What if Chili's get Man U and Real Madrid? That goes another pump.
Oh gosh, absolutely, mate. Well, this is the thing. I mean, they've probably got maybe another 10 teams that they could really probably try and focus on. I would have thought Chelsea. Maybe Tottenham, Arsenal, because eventually those teams are going to win something.
Correct.
You know, and that's the point, isn't it? They might not win it this time round. Man City may or may not win the Champions League, but eventually they're going to win. You know, they're going to win the Premiership.
They're going to win the Premiership.
Yeah.
And look, Man City is not listed there. Juventus, Galatasaray, I don't know what that is. Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. See, they're all here. You can actually trade, you know.
It's interesting, man. I mean, the fact they haven't got Inter and they haven't got AC.
Correct. AC,
yeah. They're missing quite a few, I suppose. And
I'm
so
sure they're negotiating.
You think they're negotiating? So there's nobody else within this particular area that are rivals to Chile.
Yeah, no. But I'm sure. So your mission now is very simple. This mission is so simple. It's like, now you have Chili's, right? So Chili's has done whatever it's done. Like that and like that, and probably one day it's going to do like that again. Now, if you can find a smaller one, it's going to do the same thing, but you start here. Now for chilies, you're starting here.
Yes.
That's all. This could be 1000x. This could be only a 10x. Don't get me wrong, a 10x is good, but this is not. But unless we start selling 1000x, you won't see Fat and Simon here.
Hang on, sorry, mate. Before you go, when do we find out? Is there any way to dig and research how much these dudes, chilies, if you like, have paid for Man City?
Yeah, it's probably somewhere, but they kept it secret. But I'm sure someone will leak it out. Yeah, I don't know how much they paid, but I think
because to me that speaks volumes.
Yes.
And I've got no idea where they've got their funds from.
Yeah, I know.
Well, they've got their funds because their coin's gone up by 1,000%.
Yeah. Not only that, Jeff, they got Manchester City and they also got PSG. These are the two Arab groups, right? This is what PSG is. This is like Emirates, right? PSG.
No, not Emirates. Is it Emirates? You may be right.
Abu Dhabi. Yeah, sorry, this is Abu Dhabi.
Well, in that case, if it's Emirates, then they'll do
Abu Dhabi. Yeah, these are Abu Dhabi, Etihad, right? And this is PSG.
Etihad.
Yeah, this is Qatar. I mean, these deals are rich. And
we're getting out of oil and going into NFTs. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So when you know, trying to kind of like look around to find, because you were talking about F1. What happened to that token in the end?
F1 is there. Yeah, Rev is still there. Yeah, Rev and Rev is gonna have really fun. Yeah.
Rev, is that launched yet?
Yeah, it is. So they've sold a track here. They've sold a Monaco NFT track for 169,000 last time. I'm sure it's much higher now. That was during the no boom time. That was during the normal time, and I'm sure it's up even more now. So let's see with Max. And this is also done like spectacular, but not as spectacular as Chili's because football, soccer is still number one among the world. You know, other than American NFTs, now for the non-American things, I think soccer is number one here. I just want to show it. But let's see whether we can.
It's really interesting, mate. So really, what we're looking for are these tokens that are listing that have got the right partnerships.
Yes.
And as long as they've got the right partnerships, then they've got a pretty good chance of kicking on. I mean, look at that again.
Yes, look at that again. So
it's another one. It's another one that at the start of the year just kicked.
Yeah, it just kicked because of the NFTs. Just look at that. So, you know, this is a consolidation. This is not a crash. This is a consolidation. It's trying to find somewhere to consolidate before the next leg up. That's really what it's doing. Because it's an NFT. You do not know.
Right now. Yeah. How far can an NFT platform retrace befos we buy?
Yeah. No, nobody knows. Is it following the fib? Is it? I don't know. Nobody knows. And cryptos are easier.
Do you buy it though? I mean, did you buy it on a retracement, or do you sort of like go, no, let's just find a different one. Let's find a new NFT. Are you not late to the party? Because as you say, something with like Chili's is going to go. Well, it's probably not going to go to zero as long as they've got their house in order and they don't get any competition. But maybe it's only worth because ultimately it's just a utility token, isn't it? It just it just utilizes your purchase of a product. So it wouldn't be very good for Chili's to go too high. I mean, it's a bit. Aren't we almost back to the way that countries won't want their particular currency to go too high because otherwise it makes them non-competitive?
They want the smaller ones to go higher.
They want the small, So it's actually not good for the likes of Chili's to become too expensive because somebody else will bring out an NFT a lot cheaper, and then they'll go, well, I use those guys to buy my Juventus, and
Well, what if Chili's bring out an alt that's a lot cheaper?
They can. They see what people do now is this, and people like to do this so this is the most exciting part. This is the most exciting part actually for all these things. So you saw Lim come out with LMT, right?
Yep.
To do many things. Now, what if they say that Ash can create fantasy football of Brighton, right? So Chili's might come out with CHI, and this will run, just like this will run.
Yes, I mean it's not a new thing.
Yeah, it's not a new
British
thing.
Airways have got that many low cost. Well, they've got a low cost carrier. Qantas have got a low cost carrier. You know.
Correct. So Chili's might be the one for the real football, and then they have another token for fantasy football. And
Is that the tax department trying to get into your apartment?
Yeah.
The tax police have found you, Shukri. You better get out of here, mate.
Knocking on my door.
Now, are you? Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a bit like I don't know if you're aware of there's a game FIFA. There's FIFA and there's ISS. I think it's called. And ISS was always a much better game, but they didn't have the license to have the players' names. But they were still very popular, and I suppose somebody else could come up with, okay, they can't have Juventus, but they might be able to create still a lovely coin called Juventus, and everybody knows what it is, you know. So this is what we're gonna do, Jeff. This is what we're gonna do. Look, so we're gonna create a shop soon, okay? And like this guy, this is just a normal guy. He's just an artist. He just created this shop. Isn't that cool? Just put your drawings there. And this is the prices in Ethereum. Yeah, so this stuff probably won't sell though, will it, Shukri? I mean, you
know, it depends. It depends on who is there. This stuff probably won't sell, but Jeff will sell because Jeff, man, I'm telling you, Jeff was on TV, man.
he's on the internet every day, so you might be right. You might well sell.
It's nearly finished.
Yeah, see.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I've got to have something to back it up. As I said, it's just not the image. It has to have something to back it up, like a tour of Tasmania, as we said.
Yeah, but or a bottle of bamboo wine.
Bottle of bamboo wine. That's on the cards.
Yeah.
So,
but like, you have to make sure you send it and not drink it, though, Jeff. Every single day.
Yeah, that could be an issue.
See Alison go, Jeff. There's another bottle missing from this crate that we made me send. What?
So see, it seems like the base of NFTs is this small little island called Singapore. Did you guys know that Chili's, before they became big, they came out of Singapore?
Oh wow!
Yeah, and one of the hottest token, which is Ecomi Omi, is also from Singapore.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
But Jeff is trying to move it to Hobart. Another island.
There's absolutely no room. They're building this place out like no tomorrow. We're going to struggle for infrastructure very shortly.
Yeah. I know. Simon will buy your Jeff NFT.
To Tasmania.
You're a customer, Jeff. Simon will buy your NFT.
All right, done. He's a winner. 10 cents. Done.
He expects it to go 100x, okay?
As I said before, I only need about 200,000 purchases at that to pay for the bloody artwork, mate.
This guy's an artist.
Well, maybe I needed to talk to him. We could do some bartering, some bamboo wine for some artwork. That'd be good. That works.
That'd be good.
Oh man, this is fascinating stuff. Okay, well, I guess just right now that maybe the message is keep your ears to the ground for some NFTs and the like, and get ready for Jeff's NFT.
Pre-launch in April. April 28th, right?
Yeah, pre-launch
party. Okay, amazing.
Thanks, mate. You sound a bit tired, Shukri. You need to sleep, buddy.
Yeah, paying a lot of bills today.
That's enough to make anyone tired.
But it's not enough. The tax is still knocking on my door.
Yeah, we can hear them.
You must have a very strong door, I've got to say. They haven't got in yet.
He needs it.
That's why I got to go, man.
All right.
He's got to get out of here. He's got the car running.
Have a nice time, buddy. Thanks very much, as always.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a question that I'll ask you. I'll ask you offline, and I'll give the answer tomorrow. I know you got to go. All good, mate. it blows me away. It just continues to blow me away.
Oh, it's a great work. I mean, I love all this stuff. Really, it's just great. It's just great, fascinating, and just an eye opener. I think for everybody that you can make money in so many different ways in finances.
Yeah, look, as I said from the tax department got in.
Ash, look at behind you. Isn't that an NFT?
Oh, I mean, maybe, yeah. Do you know what that's? It's my daughter on the floor, and we drew around her, and then she wanted us to do Ariel the mermaid. So it is actually a lot to life. The size is it's to proper one-on-one scale. So it's a baby mermaid. So yeah, maybe we could sell it. Why not? Maybe we'll weave it into yours, Jeff, somehow.
Yeah. College funds.
I like it, mate. I like it a lot.
Could be interesting.
Yeah.
I forgot the bloody question now.
It was there for you. It was there for you.
Yeah, I know it was there, but you know what it's like. Us old folks, we just can't remember things. They won't come back. Maybe I need some bamboo wine.
March 23rd.
Refresh my memory.
I think you do.
It could be that.
All right, mate. Well, I mean, it is fascinating stuff. We better get out of here because I think the next show might be not too far away.
Yeah, look, I haven't been around the ground, so I better just briefly do that before we check out.
Okay.
Pound is hovering at TP1. We've taken TP1, so that's all good. Pound Kiwi, we don't need to talk about that. We're well in profit there. The ones that we were looking to trade, Kiwi CAD. We were looking to trade that long, right, as a bounce off the bottom of the range. You can forget that one for a while. Dollar Sing is pretty much perfect. Well, sorry, it's pretty close to perfect.
We're not seeing your chart, mate. If that's
well, you've got a good imagination, though, haven't you? Right. Okay. Here we go. Sorry about that.
No problem.
You've missed absolutely nothing, I've got to say. So I was talking about Kiwi CAD. We were working backwards and we're looking for a buy off the bottom of that range. Yeah, right. That's not going to happen. Dollar Sing has given us pretty much exactly what we look for, but there's a problem, and the problem is the weekly pivot. I am very tempted to trade that bar long, but if I did that, I would have to take profit before the weekly pivot. Let's see if that's even possible. Entry there, stop loss there. So 23 pips for 4. It's not going to work. So I think I mentioned this earlier in the preview show. Got to hit the weekly pivot, then come back to the daily, then give us the higher low. So that's what I'll be waiting on there. Euro Swissy, as I said before, we traded that yesterday, got into the trade, missed TP1 by 2 pips. I moved my stops to entry immediately, and therefore I'm now out of that at break even. Aussie CAD, we were waiting on a retest. This is absolutely gorgeous if you could actually pick it up, but it's not giving me the candle that I need. I need to see a candle back to here again. It needs to be bullish, needs to be decisive. Then we can trade it short.
You can tell your time, mate. Angel just said the next show's not till 8, so we're okay.
Okay, cool. Aussie dollar's in a far better position because we may well look to come back into that range. If we do, it's not really an untested daily pivot, but it's there. It's very close to it. It's been smashed through very early in the day. I like the prospects here, and if price got back into this range above that rectangle bottom and gave us a higher low, I think that's a good buy position on Aussie US dollar. Aussie Kiwi is shot through, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about that. As I said before, we gave you that potential long yesterday. I can't say too much about it because I just didn't take the trade. It's as simple as that. Aussie yen. Ooh, okay. No, I don't want to trade that long, I don't believe. No, I don't. Otherwise, that's an interesting candle, but no, I don't want to trade it long. The ones that I was looking for from the get-go this week were all those. I added a few this morning. Pound Swissy was one, and that's doing pretty much exactly as I would like it to do. Again, this is range territory, and we're really in a good spot this week with a lot of ranges taking place. We've had a re-entry into this range on the 4-hour chart. I might look a little bit shorter here into the hourly charts, and that's giving me a very nice potential entry here, stop loss here. We'll take that trade in a minute. I'll come back to it. I think that's quite possible. Just add that trade line to see exactly where we are in relation to that. Yeah, it looks good. I like that. We'll place an order above this bar very shortly. That's pound Swissy, pound US dollar. Again, I wanted to trade that long because we're at the bottom of a range. That shot through, taking our TP1, as I said. But if we do come back into here, which seems to be the flavor of the week so far, because we get into a profitable situation, then it smashes us out, then it goes again. I'm thinking this can go long. So back into here, give me a higher low as a retest of the base. Happy days. That could happen off a trade line, of course, and that would all be far better than not. So even if we got up to here, broke out above the daily pivot, came back and retest the confluence, that's probably a really, really nice entry. Kiwi CAD we've spoken about, that's gone, can't trade it. Dollar Sing we've spoken about, I think we have. Yes, we have. Look, I'm so close to wanting to trade this, it's not funny. I've got to drill down into something smaller though and see if I can find an entry. It's giving me all the right signals, but yeah, that trade line misses. Maybe this one, maybe we can pick this up. That would kind of work for me. Got to get away from this area because I don't want to be too close. I want a nice little gap. So if we get down to here and then give us a high test bar sitting on that level, I'd be okay. The daily pivot's been broken, rebroken, so I'm not really concerned about that too much. But gee whiz, I'm liking this for a long. I just can't trade it at the moment. I can't trade into that weekly pivot without taking profit. So there's no room for it there. There's no best case scenario from that chart. There really isn't. The hourly chart has already given us the false break. And I spoke about this morning as well. Impossible to trade that candle, but that's precisely the candle. Sorry, it's precisely the scenario that you're looking for. Break, consolidate, re-entry, retest, but you can't trade that bar, unfortunately. And that is now where we're at. So I've got to come back to here. And I think what I said before is probably the way to go. Wait for a high test bar sitting on that or something like that, 2 candle setup. That'll be handy. Or even a break and retest. Break, retest, go. That's what I'll be looking for. And that is, that's pretty much where I'm at. Gee, guys, I hope you got into the pound CAD scale in. I hope you got into the Aussie, pound Kiwi scale in and the Aussie Kiwi entry like I did not. You can't be everywhere, as I said from the start. But I think there's a few possibilities coming up, Ash, and I like the ranges that we're in. I think we've got a real good shot by the end of the week of picking up some cash.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Okay, that sounds all good to me. Well, let's call it a day, and we'll be back obviously tomorrow.
Hang on. Hang on. Yeah. Hopefully Ainsley's in tomorrow. She's been doing pornographic education with her children.
Oh, okay.
And something.
I wonder where that was going. I was getting a bit worried.
Well, apparently it's a school thing, and which I think is fantastic. They're actually
I bet you do.
Educating children against. Now I can never be accused of that. It's not even close to being me. Not even close.
It looks like you, Jeff. That's all I'm saying.
Does it? Oh, okay. Silver. I do have a silver chart. I don't trade silver, as you guys know, but Jira is looking at silver and he's waiting for a third touch on H1, long and short. So you're looking for an OCO, Jira. Gyra, sorry.
Yeah, silver's in a lot of trouble. I mean, it's looking at both gold and silver, they just haven't taken off. They haven't done their thing, and I think that silver looks in more trouble than gold. But they really haven't done their thing at all, and I'm finding it hard to call, if I'm honest. I think it's a dangerous one, but I think you're right. If you pick the right high line, then a short with silver does look pretty good. I'm just not sure about the long. I'm not comfortable with a long. Yeah, I think you're right, Lewis. It would look more to me like a short than a long.
I'm struggling to find the long gyro. I can see this candle and that candle, and that's kind of interesting, but I don't see the structure that it's breaking down or that's breaking from. There's a steep trade line, maybe. Is that what you're looking at? I'm not sure. Maybe that's what you're looking at. Yeah, I don't like to play that that steep. It's a little bit off it as well. Not saying it can't. But I totally see you short. You'd want to have a tight stop loss and an early take profit. That's the only thing I would say. And you've got a pretty clear double bottom sitting there as well. And you've got a couple of bounces off the weekly. Well, you had a couple of bounces off the weekly pivot. What happened to them? Okay, interesting. Range break to the short side. It's not decisive though, is it? Interesting. I could see this going long, Ash, but not today. I'd have to see something back into that range. There is a range, so let's have a look at that. You're starting to get me interested now, Gyro. I'm going to go with that and that as the range. So we're actually in it already. Bounce off the bottom, potential high or low, trading straight into the daily. It's tough, mate. I see where you're going, but yeah, risky, high risk, I reckon. OCO, I wouldn't want to be on the short side of that, to be honest. But I see the setup there. No, I'm not going to commit. It's not there for me. Nothing's really clear for me. There's a little bit of a hint of a flag there. I get that, but are we in a trend? No, we're not in a trend. We're in a range. So I can only think of trading the range, and the range has to be long for me from where we are currently. So yeah, that's where I'd be focused. I'd be focused on a long, not a short. And I see that candle pattern. I see it, but am I willing to trade it? No. Best case scenario. All right, I'll give you my best case scenario. It is to go short, hit the bottom of the range, then come back above the confluence area, retest it, give me a higher low, then I can go, and I'd go long. I wouldn't go short. That's me. Ash, any addition to that?
No, mate. No, sorry. I had my mind on something else. My short area would be from the trend line from the upper area, 18th of March, 17th maybe high, a trend line from the very high that you've got. Yeah, up there, which makes it a wider. Yeah. That to me would be of interest. So it looks like around about the daily pivot. I think that daily pivot looks to me like a decent area to go short. And I think technically speaking alone, it looks like a good area. And the fact that silver's just not able, and it's also the top end of that range as well that we've seen since the 12th. So I like the top end of that particular range. So the daily pivot looks to me like the sweet spot.
Yep, there is a horizontal level through there, weekly pivots there as well from last week, all that. Crystal, I'm not sure it can even go to 1 cent, my NFT, but, if I encourage enough people to part with 1 cent, then it could go to 2 cents. From there, $1 trillion is on this.
Well, absolutely. Well, no, I think it's a fascinating exercise, regardless, just to see somebody create an NFT would be brilliant. When are we going to see this, Jeff? I know you haven't finished the artwork, but are we going to have a show where Shukri's going to talk us through how to create the whole thing?
I think we need to do that. Yes. How do
Yeah.
we place my NFT in the marketplace?
Yeah.
Well, the pre-launch, as I said, needs to be in a couple of weeks. So I'll talk to Shukri off air and see what we can do.
Okay, fantastic.
And next
Looking
week
forward to it.
we'll announce the pre-launch. What would we call it? An IGO?
What is
Initial
that?
bid offering.
Yeah. I like it. Okay, well, that's the IGO next week.
Right. Happy days. We better get out of here and let Angel go and have something to eat or drink at her leisure. Thanks, Angel, for everything as always. Ash, we'll catch you tomorrow, buddy.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Angel. Speak tomorrow, Jeff.
Bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye for now.